They get that back.
Sign it.
Yeah, sign the contract. But I want to take everything. I ain't leaving nothing. I want to take everything. When people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. You don't know me. You feel me? And I don't give a fuck. If everybody including Will, fuck.
Question for you.
You're a proud father.
Gervonta Tank Davis has finally responded after months of silence, controversy, and a cancelled mega fight, firing back at Terence Crawford with one of the coldest and most aggressive call-outs seen in years. And when Tank told him to sign the contract, it didn't just create hype, it reignited a rivalry that's been quietly building for a long time and now feels unavoidable. Especially with both fighters moving in opposite directions as Crawford sits on top of the sport, undisputed and undefeated after outclassing Canelo Alvarez at 168, becoming a three-division undisputed champion, and even meeting with Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh for potential historic matchups.
Mayweather or Crawford?
Crawford all day long.
Be surprised at how good Crawford was in there with Canelo.
I always said to everyone that Crawford is a fantastic fighter, skilled, movement, he has everything that it takes to become the best, and there's no one there to touch him in this game. So when the Canelo fight was announced with Crawford, I said to everyone that Crawford's gonna win. People looked at me like, are you sure? Like, is he big enough? I go, trust me, Crawford is big enough, he's strong enough, and he can beat Canelo. And guess what? He went there and did it.
Meanwhile, Tank Davis is coming off one of the most difficult years of his career, dealing with a controversial draw against Lamont Roach, a cancelled Jake Paul event due to legal issues, a long stretch of public silence, and non-stop criticism surrounding his legacy.
Tank Davis is not the face of boxing because he doesn't fight often. He fights once a year. And he's probably one of the best talents in the world. I love Tank Davis. I love watching him fight. I love when he goes in the ring and just demonstrates power and speed, and he doesn't give a sh. I love that. But he has to fight more often. We want to see Tank fight 3-4 times a year. Tank Davis, I dare you to break my record. 5 world title fights in 1 year. Let's go.
You think he's lost?
So why is Tank suddenly going after the pound-for-pound king? And to understand that, you have to look back at where this tension really began, because Tank and Crawford have been circling each other for years, exchanging subtle shots on social media long before anyone seriously believed a fight between them could happen. Crawford posted a simple message saying he saw someone mad about not being invited to the Ring Magazine gala, and while he never mentioned Tank by name, he didn't need to, because Tank reacted immediately. From that point on, things spiraled quickly as Tank fired back claiming he still makes more money, only for Crawford to respond with a sharp and calculated counter, saying the first thing a dumb rich person says is that they have more money, while pointing out his own investments, clean finances, and status. Which led Tank to get emotional and start attacking Crawford's legacy by saying Bud chases paychecks instead of greatness and only fights top opponents because he has to, before crossing the line entirely by dragging Crawford's wife into the argument with a tweet so disrespectful he deleted it minutes later, though screenshots spread fast and Crawford made sure not to ignore it.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
At that point, this stopped being simple trash talk and became personal, as Crawford has always preferred to settle issues inside the ring while Tank has often escalated things outside of it, leaving the boxing world asking whether this could finally lead to a Crawford versus Davis super fight, especially considering Crawford's current position as an untouchable force who has beaten Spence, Madrimov, and Canelo, remains undefeated, rules 3 divisions, and has options ranging from 154 to potentially even 175 if legacy matters more than comfort.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
Everyone wants a piece of Crawford right now, with Saudi Arabia eager to build major events around him and Turkey Al-Sheikh treating him like a true generational superstar.
Crawford and Canelo, I'm pretty sure.
Shakur and Tank?
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope, but if Tank was not so cocky to be on a Terence Crawford undercard, that would be dope. But I don't see Tank taking a backseat to no fighter.
Tank, on the other hand, is fighting to regain control of his image, as the draw with Roach damaged his momentum and the controversial knee moment that should have been ruled a knockdown left fans questioning his ring IQ. Crawford added fuel to the fire when he went on Club Shay Shay and openly said Roach deserved the win, calling Tank overconfident and suggesting he didn't take the fight seriously, comments that clearly hit Tank's pride, and the situation only worsened when the Jake Paul fight was cancelled.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Tank was looking for a comeback moment, but instead found himself dealing with lawsuit headlines and a collapsed event. And while he denies responsibility and claims Paul pulled out for his own reasons, the damage to his image was already done, pushing Tank to seek the biggest fight and redemption possible, which naturally leads to Crawford. Though the irony is that Crawford struck first with subtle but sharp jabs questioning Tank's invitations, achievements, and opponents before landing the hardest line by saying Tank definitely isn't making more money and asking who he's really been fighting, a comment that hit harder than anything Roach landed because it reflected a truth Tank knows, that Crawford is fighting Canelo, making history, headlining global cards, and peaking while Tank is not.
Wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
That's where this story truly turns, because if you put yourself in Tank's shoes as a former star, knockout artist, and pay-per-view attraction who once headlined Atlanta and Vegas with celebrities ringside and the future in his hands, real life issues have now slowed his momentum while the division, rankings, and fans move on, which explains why Tank finally snapped, since for the first time in his career, he's the one being looked down on.